Hello everyone, this is my first video tutorial on how I wrap different stones and things with silverware. So this is a Ammonite fossil and it's been cut in half already, and I'm going to use this little dessert fork to wrap it. I always try and find a piece of silverware that matches somewhat closely. See if I can get some light there. Roughly the same size. My intention is to make this fat tine here actually come out and look kind of like a snail, and then I'm going to use these two to capture the shell, and hopefully I'll only have to use just one little drop of glue to keep it in place. And this is a really nice antique pattern. I'll save this half to use as a bracelet, but this front half we'll be able to use as the silver, or as the pendant. Alright, well, we gotta flatten it. I use this brown board stuff. It's just real thin, it's hard, and I use it as my surface instead of my anvil because this will take a lot more of the abuse and it doesn't leave the marks. After a little bit you end up with a little bit of an indentation in one, and what I use that for is whenever I'm hammering this down, it will actually allow me to take this thick part right here in the forks, and it will allow me to actually make that flat, which is really nice for most of the stones. With the Ammonite, we're going to still have some roundness so that we have something to go up against. If we made that flat, we'd have a lot of gaps in air there. So we'll get started. Kind of putting a little curve up into these two tines to kind of get them started. It helps me get the back kind of where I want it to be. So this front part is pretty much flush right now, and that's nice. It matches up with the top, so we'll keep it there. I'm gonna buff it clean real quick. I have a little cloth down here on my chair to polish it up. So now it's shiny, gives us a nice work surface. We're gonna have to go through and polish it up. Our tool marks, but if you don't polish it up to start with, there's a lot of spots that are kind of hard to get to later. So I know that I want the main part for this to come up and then over, so I'm going to work on that piece first. I also know that I want the top of my piece to be right about here. Which means that this needs to go right about here. So I have to figure out how to do that bend. And have a piece of leather that I use inside my vise. Allows me to keep everything tight, but not mark up my piece there. These are a pair of automotive pliers. They actually come with little nubs. I think they're called snap ring pliers, but they have little nubs on the top of them, and I just cut those off. These are a lot stronger than the ones that you get at most of the beach stores or hobby stores. I broke 2 pairs of these before I got these. The biggest difference is that these close shut all the way down, whereas these don't. But with these, I can grab all the way back to here and still have lots of leverage. And these are the same pair I've been using for 3 years. You can kind of tell one's got taped on, but they work. They still do the job. So I'm going to grab this. And I want to start a little bit higher than where I want my finish line to be, because it's going to fold down to that point. Serafina?
Yeah?
Stop.
Stop what?
Being loud.
Okay. We're gonna have to stop being loud.
It's almost midnight.
Okay.
And get some more light here. I have 3 lights going. Let's see. So I got most of this set up here. Now I want it to come up and curl over. So I need to get hard edge put on this. Another pair of pliers I use a lot is this step gauge wire. It allows me to get a lot of leverage also. Open that back up a little bit. Let's see. It's not wanting to do what I want it to do. And you know what? That happens a lot. So what we do is we turn something that's not cooperating, we change it a little bit so that we can get it to work. And that's why it's called creativity. Actually, that's why it's called art. Because you don't know what it's going to be till it's done. I want to take, these are my flat pliers, I've taken and rounded off all the edges. I'm going to turn this, hopefully. We're going to bang on this a little bit. So I'm using the pliers right now to open up the gap to make it a little bit bigger so that I can get the thicker piece of this up through there. If it was all thin, it would be one piece. That would be one thing. So we're getting it closer to what we're wanting. Grab a piece of paper. It's getting closer. But if we look at it, we have kind of a pinch point right here. And in the front, we're a little off center. So let's see if we can pull it around. Put it back in the vise. And we're going to use the flat ones and just try and get that to pull forward. So I'm pushing down, pushing that forward, just using the leverage, because this front tine is very strong, deceptively strong. Okay, so there we're getting it pretty close. That's it. The other ones are at the Arnos, and then Sarah has a pair somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to pull it just a little bit further forward. I really want the center of this spiral to be kind of center with this. So we're just about there. The one thing about wrapping the stones is you're definitely in and out of the vise a lot. Oh. Ouch. Because every little movement that you do to the silverware changes something. You need to be able to adjust that.